Hey everybody, Cameron here. Thank you for tuning into my channel today. I really appreciate that. I want to talk here a little bit about the new camping permit system in Voyageurs National Park, fully implemented here now in 2015. Last year, 2014, phase one if you will, they required that you have an advanced permit reservation at some of the campsites. Well, now here in 2015, it's all the campsites, all 175 plus. So essentially, you simply cannot go camping in Voyageurs National Park anymore unless you have an advanced permit reservation. So it is what it is, right? I've been camping up there now for almost 20 years, and this is indeed the first time I've ever needed a permit to do so. I don't believe that this permit system's going anywhere fast. In fact, I believe it's here to stay. And so, as a matter of fact, I think we're all just going to have to find our own way to deal with it. I have done a lot of research on this issue, and I do believe that the financial resources gained from all of this are indeed going to be put to good use. I do believe that earnestly. I can say that not everyone believes that. I have spoken to many campers to that area on this specific issue, and although it seems pretty evenly split down the middle, I know that there are more out there who oppose this new system than are for it, but it's kind of irrelevant. The system's here to stay. It's not going anywhere, and each of us is going to have to find a way to deal with it. Essentially, every camper is going to have their own view and opinion. So, at any rate, this video is primarily intended for those that have little or no knowledge of Voyageurs National Park, or have never been camping there before. I know that many of you that watch my videos here on YouTube on this channel are also fellow avid users of the park. And so to all of you, I ask you to please forgive the redundancy. But this video is primarily intended for those that have never been there before. So, at any rate, with all that aside, I guess I'd like to start with just a little bit of basic information about Voyageurs National Park here for you. Voyageurs National Park was created in 1975, and 2015, incidentally, is the 40-year anniversary. So it's a good year to go. Voyageurs has been a national park for 40 years now, so that's pretty amazing. Like I said, it was created in 1975, and it is in fact the country's 36th national park. Voyageurs National Park is on the Minnesota-Canadian border, and it's pretty close to the town of International Falls. So if you Google International Falls, you can find Voyageurs National Park pretty easily. Voyageurs is 218,000 acres, so that's a pretty big park. It has approximately 350 square miles of water, so that's a lot. You're starting to see a picture here. It's a water park. In fact, Voyageurs National Park is one of the few national parks in the United States National Park System devoted specifically for motorboat camping. I don't know if it's the only one, but I know it's one of the few. So you're going to need a boat, people. A raft, a canoe, a kayak, whatever. You're going to need a boat. Okay? Voyageurs National Park is primarily comprised of four major bodies of water. The first and northernmost being Rainy Lake. Rainy Lake's about 55-60 miles long. It's definitely the largest of the bodies of water up there in Voyageurs National Park. Directly south of Rainy is Kabetogama. Directly to the east is Namakan. And then a little bit to the east and south is Sandpoint Lake. All those lakes up there are deep, in most cases rock bottom, freshwater lakes, great for fishing. Voyageurs is a great place to take your family. Or in my case, my puppy Toby and I go up there. Like I said, I've been going up there for nearly 20 years now. And Voyageurs National Park has always provided for some very abiding satisfactions for me. I like the solitude. I like getting away. I'm a very adventurous type of person, and so I like the adventure. I like risk. and I just can't sit in an office and work all the time. I have to get away. I have to have risk. I have to be threatened by that thunderstorm. I have to get muddy. I have to be threatened by monster-sized bugs. I have to be out there away from people, realizing that if something happens, getting help isn't going to be easy. I love that risk. I love that adventure. And so that's why I go. But it's different for everyone that goes there. So at any rate, one other interesting piece of information about Voyageurs National Park is Voyageurs is one of only 2 national parks in the continental United States that has its own indigenous population of eastern timber wolf. Many people don't know that. Isn't that amazing? I've never seen them. I've heard them, depending, of course, on where you camp in the park. I've heard them on a couple different occasions. They're really beautiful. Really nice to hear them late at night or early in the morning when there is no wind. Everything's silent. It's just that whole northern experience. It's amazing. At any rate, the park is filled with wildlife. There's bears, moose, deer. You'll see deer a lot, beavers a lot, loons a lot. You'll hear loons a lot, especially in the evenings. But it's just full of wildlife, so it's a great place to visit. Voyageurs has several resorts in its proximity there. I pretty much, though, exclusively do business with Handberg's Marine. Handberg's has been serving the community there, serving vacationers and visitors since the 1920s. They're in their 4th generation of ownership now, family ownership. And Handberg's is a full-service resort. They are a dealer of Evinrude and Johnson outboards. They can service your motor there. They've got gas, regular gas. They've got mixed gas. They've got a gift shop. They've got a general store for groceries, ice, beverages, so on and so forth, food. But one of the main reasons I really like Handberg's Marine is I have a little tradition that I do after every Voyageurs camping trip, and that is to go in there and get some of their ice cream. Their ice cream is delicious. They've got like 8 to 10 flavors, I believe, and it tastes so good, especially after being out in the woods like that. So anyway, that's my tradition, to go in there and get some ice cream, and why don't you make it your tradition too? So at any rate, that is the place I choose to do business. They've always been able to meet all my needs, and they've got friendly staff and ownership there, so I highly recommend Handberg's Marine. So at any rate, with all that being said, I guess I can get into more of the permit information here. There's 2 ways you can get your permit. You can either go online to Recreation.gov, or you can call them at the 1-877 number, and that number is 1-877-444-6777. I've got a couple different trips planned to Voyageurs this summer, and what I did is I planned one each way, so I get a sample of what's it like to do it online, what's it like to call. I highly recommend going online. This is a new system, keep that in mind, and so the people, when you call, it's new for them, and so they're not always going to have all the information that you need. And so just go online, follow the prompts, go through the process there. It's relatively easy to do. So at any rate, there's basically, first of all, the high use season for Voyageurs National Park is mid-May to mid-September. Now, granted, people use the park year-round. In the wintertime, you've got the snowmobilers and the ice fishermen and so on and so forth. But mid-May to mid-September is the high use. That's when most of the visitors will go there. And Voyageurs National Park, incidentally, usually gets around, or a little over, 100,000 visitors a year. So there's a lot of people that visit that park. It's pretty popular. Now, in contrast to Yellowstone, it's obviously nowhere near Yellowstone, but for our area here in the upper Midwest, Voyageurs does very well. At any rate, you're going to see a lot of houseboats up there too. That's something that you can rent up there. You can rent houseboats. Be sure to give them a wide berth. And they should give you a wide berth too. It goes both ways, you know what I'm saying? They have to watch out for you, and you have to watch out for them. So anyway, here's some information about the individual campsites, okay? A small campsite, this is the amount of people that can be camped at the campsites. A small campsite, the minimum number is 1. The maximum number of people camped at a small campsite is 9. A large campsite, minimum number is 1, and the maximum number of campers at a large campsite is 18. And then you have the group campsites. The group campsite, the minimum number of people there is 14, and the maximum number is 30. So I don't know of too many group campsites up there, and I've been camping up in that area for years. I do know of a few of them, I think 2. But at any rate, keep that in mind when you go to make your reservation, that those aren't always readily available. So you may need, if you have a large group, to rent a couple large campsites. Those are much more in number. So at any rate, here's a question. Can you stay at a non-designated site? No. That's new to 2015. Okay, first of all, what is a non-designated site? A non-designated campsite is basically a site without amenities. No firing, no picnic table, no biff. Prior to 2014, you used to be able to stay at non-designated sites. And how do you know where they are or whatever? They're basically matted down areas. You can tell people have camped there before. It's not on the map. It's not a dot, like a campsite on the map. But you can tell people have been there before. And those are generally for emergency situations. You get up there, you can't find a campsite, so on and so forth, on an as-per-needed basis. But as of 2015, you can no longer camp in those areas anymore. So, alrighty, moving on. Okay, so once you have your permit, how do you cancel, or what are the fees associated with the permit? Any change to your reservation is going to cost you $10, okay? Whether you're changing your campsite or adding people or reducing the amount of people going with you, it's going to cost you $10 to make any kind of change to your reservation. If you cancel your reservation more than 14 days prior to your scheduled arrival date, more than 14 days, there's only going to be a $10 reservation service fee. So basically, the fee that it takes to make the reservation, the $10 reservation fee, is all you'll lose if you cancel your reservation more than 14 days in advance. Okay. The problem comes in if you do it less than 14 days, and it's still not that big of an issue. If you cancel your reservation within the 14 days of your arrival, there's a $10 reservation fee. But then you also forfeit your first night's use fee, okay? So say it's, $20 to stay per night at your campsite. You forfeit that first night's $20 camping fee. So plus the $10 reservation fee. So that's still not bad. So anyway, those are the cancel fees. So they're not too bad. One other thing about the permit is once the permit is printed, there will be no refunds. So no refunds whatsoever. So when you print your permit, and you need to do that before you go on your trip, all of us do, you need to print it and bring it with you, because there basically is no place to print your permit out once you arrive at Voyageurs National Park. Once you print it, there is no refunds. They consider you going once you printed it. So go to the park, don't lose your money, go camping, whatever. Obviously, in some cases, it's unavoidable that you need to cancel, but know that you're going to lose that money. Okay, so now, how much does it cost to stay at these campsites, right? All right. All right, here's the small campsite, okay? This is a reservation service fee and amenity fee for a small campsite. You got the $10 one-time per reservation call fee, okay? And then you've also got an amenity fee for using the small campsite of $16 per night. That's a small campsite, all right? A small campsite with one tent pad is the $10 reservation call fee, and is $18 per night. Okay. A small campsite with 2 tent pads, that tends to be more of the common campsites out there. You've got your $10 one-time call fee, and then you've got the $20 per night fee for that. A large campsite is, again, the $10 call fee, and then that one is $24 per night. And then the group campsite, remember the 14 to 30 people can stay there? You've got your $10 one-time call fee, and then that one is $35 per night. So you can kind of see, obviously, it goes up a little bit the larger the campsite. So another bit of information too, I mentioned to print your permit out. Well, make sure that you bring it with, okay? Because every campsite has bear-proof food lockers. And on those bear-proof food lockers, there's going to be a little slot for you to stick your permit. You need to put it in there and display it in there. That's what they require of you when you go camping in Voyageurs National Park. They have a little box on every bear food locker for you to display your permit. And the rangers that go around there can come up at will and check and make sure that you are permitted for that campsite. So that's what you need to do. You need to print it out before you even get up there, and you need to bring it out with you to the site and display it. That's what they expect you to do. So at any rate, that's basically it for the video. I want to thank you for watching this video. I know it's kind of getting long and detailed, but I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. Feel free to comment. I always answer comments. And also feel free to check out all the other videos on this channel. There's many videos about Voyageurs National Park in here that you might enjoy. Many are informational and some are just for shits and giggles, that sort of thing. But please feel free to comment, and I hope that all your adventures to Voyageurs National Park are safe, and you have lots of fun. Put on sunscreen, take plenty of ice, take gas for the boat, all that sort of thing, bug dope. I hope they're safe and you have lots of fun. And to you, I say happy trails.